having just basic conversational skills is something that's tough. But again, that's interrelating with other people. So you got to interrelate with men. You got to interrelate with women. So do you interrelate with women? Can you form a friendship with another guy? Now, most people's friendship is not like, this guy's pretty cool, I want to be his friend. No, most guys don't think of it that way. They go, oh, he's in the same shit that I am. I need I'm on a softball team and we need a first baseman. It looks like you'd be a good first baseman. Can you play? Yeah, I love first base. Okay, so he goes and he plays. Now suddenly you're on the same team and you're competitive. You have a passion. You have a sport that you're doing and you're hanging out together and you're talking. And that's how guys form friendships. Men and women form friendships differently. And that's the last thing that I wanted to get into all of this. There's a big difference between close friendships between women and close friendships between men. Men form friendships and have a different format, I think is the best way I can put it, of intrasexual friendship, meaning like same-sex friendships, and women having same-sex friendships. When women communicate, they communicate covertly. They enjoy conversation. Yes, Emma, sorry, they do. There is an emotional high that comes from that. There is a dopamine hit. I should say dopamine because it's not dopamine. It's an endorphin hit as a result of how that conversation made them feel. How did Sally Jesse Raphael or Tyra Banks show or The View or whatever? It's not about what they're talking about. It's how it made them feel. Oh, and then what were they talking about? Cheaters. Why is Cheaters such a great show for women? Why is The Bachelor and The Bachelorette professional wrestling for women? That's what it is, because it's all scripted, but it's hitting that high. It's hitting that emotional high that women get off on, being communicated to about things that trigger that high. So how did that make them feel? When women form friendships, when my wife and the lady from our Greyhound group formed a friendship, there had to be something between the two of them, and they formed a friendship and said, hey, let's go have coffee. Let's go. And when women communicate, when friends, like female friends communicate, they communicate like this. How you doing? Yeah, really? Oh, how are the kids? And it's like eye contact, and maybe you have a little bit of coffee while you're going. Women get together to communicate for the sake of communication. Men, on the other hand, generally speaking, don't go, I better call Bill because I got to see how he's doing. No. It's like, hey, Bill calls you up. Hey, Rollo, yeah, my car's busted. Do you know anything about batteries and the electrical systems of a 1969 Dodge Coronet? Matter of fact, I do. I used to own one. I'll be right over. And you come over there and you're working on this stuff, and then you're getting in the guts of the car, whatever your problem. I'm saying cars, but it could be anything. It could be guitars, right? And whatever it is, you've got a project that you're working on, and then men communicate as a result of that. Hey, do you like to fish? Yeah. I talked some really good shit with Tom and with Sterling because all three of us enjoyed fishing on that fishing trip that we went on in Miami. I got more out of that trip because we were talking. And it wasn't, we go, hey man, let's go take a fishing trip so we could talk. That wasn't the point. The point was pulling big ass fucking mahi out of the ocean. That's what it was for. And as a result, that's a byproduct of that, I've got Tom who's going to work on my Clips channel. Right? We'd start talking about chicks. We started talking about business. We started talking about life. We started talking, I know Sterling's real name. He knows my real name, just like the rest of you black pill sons of bitches, right? Who cares? No one, not me. I know Tom's real name. I know where he came from. I know I believe he has a sister. Yes, right. I know lots as a result of having a mutual interest in going and fishing. And you know how men communicate? We go like this. Hey, we're gonna go some fishing over here. Yeah, all right. What do you think? Yeah, pretty good. Let's do some fishing. All right, we're going to go over here and do fishing. Hey, how are the kids? They're fine. Yeah. How's business? Let me tell you about it. Because we're focused outward. We're looking at the game. We're looking at exercising our will on the outside world. We're looking at the project, and that's how men communicate. But in a gynocentric social order, if men do not communicate like women, if men don't go, let's go to Starbucks and catch up. If that's not the way that guys are getting together and forming close friendships, that's wrong. That's the wrong way to form a friendship with a guy. You have to get together and you have to enjoy conversation just for the sake of conversation. And if you don't, it's a life or death perspective or prospect, right? Because if you don't have close friends, because none of these girls are going to be your wife, none of these girls are give a rat's ass about you. So you guys have to care about each other. You betas, you chumps, you guys are going to have to care about each other. And the best way to do that is to go and catch up with your boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, at Starbs. Have a cuddle party. Have a, do your focus groups where everybody gets together and talks about their feelings. It's like an AA meeting. That's probably the best way I can say it. Right? We're all going to get together and talk about our feelings. Guys don't do that. That's not how it's naturally done, anyways. But that's how women think that it should work, because in a gynocentric social order, whatever the female experience is the correct experience. And that is extended to communication, and that is extended to forming friendships, close friendships. Now, back in 2017, the Boston Globe did a story, and it was, what was it called? It was called, I have the link here because I wrote an actual essay about this in 2018. And the title of it was this: the biggest threat facing middle-aged men isn't smoking or obesity, it's loneliness. And back in 2017, the Globe, and I'm not going to, I'll give you the link if you really want to look at it. But I had a post back, I had an essay back in May of 2018 where I discussed, it was called Emotional Differences. And it's when I was picking apart like instinct, emotion, and reason. And this was sort of the centerpiece of that whole series of essays that was in there. You can look that up on therationalmale.com. It's called Emotional Differences. So I'll just paraphrase it here. I don't need to actually read the whole damn thing to you. So, but anyways, in Emotional Differences, I made this case is that one of the reasons why women think that loneliness amongst men is such a big deal is because first of all, it absolves them from any responsibility of men offing themselves for being zeroed out. And so what they'll say is, well, men are killing themselves at such a high rate, at 3.5 to 5 times the rate, because they don't have close friendships. And okay, fine. Well, that's a nice way to sort of just push the blame or the culpability of that off onto men. I'm not saying all women are culpable of men's suicides. They're not, but they believe, especially in a female-centric society, that the way to prevent that is for men to interrelate and have friends just like they do. Why is it that men kill themselves at that rate and women do not? Well, because women are more perfected, of course. We've got more friends. We've got girlfriends that we can go talk to. Why is mental health men and women have different issues when it comes to stats of like what kind of disorders women get versus what men get. There's definitely gendered evolutionary reasons why women get certain ones and men get others, right? But when we talk about mental health issues, we only focus on men, and it's usually right after some guy shoots up a school, or he shoots up the post office, or he goes in on some bloody rampage at like the county fair or some shit like that. And then we go, well, we need to spend more money on mental health, especially for men, because men don't talk. Men don't interrelate and form friendships like women do. And if they did, then they wouldn't go shoot up the state fair. No, that's not true. That's bullshit. Men kill themselves because it's a practical decision for themselves. It seems like the most logical thing to do. They're faced with two options: rebuild themselves or off themselves. And tragically, most guys choose off themselves. They're zeroed out. They go, damn, I went to X amount of years of high school. I went to X amount of years of college. I got this job. I put this amount of years into my job and whatever. And now I'm fired or whatever it is. My wife left me as a result. My kids won't talk to me because I can't afford ponies or horse riding lessons or whatever it is. And they get to a point where, so my wife's leaving me. I lost my job, blah, blah, blah. I'm zeroed out. I got two options. I can go, fuck it. You guys can go to hell, and I'm going to create my own new best life, or I can just end it all. And that's usually what most guys do. That's why the prime demographic for being zeroed out and suicide is between 45 and 65 years old, because at 45 or like I'm 53, right? At 50, let's just say at 50 years old, everything that you built up in your blue pill thinking, in your blue pill life, and you might even be on top of the world, right? And then within a year, you're zeroed out. The wife's gone. The dog's gone. The kids are gone. Everybody's gone. Everything's gone. Everything that you thought was going to be valuable and was going to be a integral part of your life going forward into your golden years, all that's out the window. And you have to rebuild everything from scratch at 50 years old now. Are you going to do that, or are you going to kill yourself? Because those are really kind of your two, or you can sedate yourself, I suppose. You can just go get drunk and prescription opioids or some shit like that. And then you're going to kill yourself. So you can off yourself, you can end yourself, or you can rebuild yourself. And tragically, most guys lack the tools to do so. They lack the understanding of how to go about that. But when that happens, women have to have a response to that. They have to say, well, because there's that kind of guilt factor that's, well, I left him and he killed himself, but it wasn't my fault. He had too much Xanax and tequila. I don't know. Now he had problems. We need to focus more on mental health. That's a cop-out is what that is. It's a cop-out for women. It's a cope for women. So when guys don't, and I'm not saying guys don't form, everybody is forming less and less real close friendships. But even if you had, like, how many guys do you know? How many of your best friends do you have, or do you know right now that would talk you out, that you would think, hey man, I'm really depressed. First of all, you have to recognize that you're depressed as a guy. Second of all, you have to think, oh man, second of all, you have to get to the point where you say, man, I really need some help. And how many of those guys from that point then go, I need to call the hotline, or I'm going to call Jim, right? My Ray, my best friend. I'm going to call my best friend and maybe he'll help. How many of those guys would know how many of your best friends would go, whoa, wait a minute, Rollo, don't off yourself. I got an idea. How many? We're going to Vegas. But how many guys would do that even if you had the friend? And especially if you had the friend in the same kind of format that women say that men need to form friendships, which is the way that they form friendships. Men, and that's why I asked, the first thing out of my mouth when I was reading, it wasn't Steve, it was Paul Graham. When I was looking at the data that he had presented, which was this right here. When I first saw this data set, I'm like, okay, well, what do they consider close friendship? Because a close friend between two women is different and formed differently than a close friendship amongst men. As I said, that Boston Globe article that was concerned with men being lonely in their sort of like middle ages, later middle ages. Again, it was kind of, it was a cope for sure. But in no part of that article back in 2017, and in no part of the article that this data set was a part of, in no part of that does it say men form friendships differently than women do. And again, that is part of a cultural generational investment in the blank slate and social conditioning or social constructivism. Men are different. Women are different. They form friendships differently than men do. That's how it works. My best friends that I still hold on to today, that I still talk to, it's not like I'm going, hey man, we don't have this like, let's go to Starbucks kind of relationship. It's just like, hey, I need you to help me out with something. Cool. I'll be right there. Let's go. Where are we going? Hey, you want to go to the Philippines with me? Yeah. Yeah, again. Yeah, I do. Let's go. Hey, I need you to come and, last time I hit up Ray, I said, hey, will you come out and do some photography for the band? Yep. Right there. Video too. It was awesome. And so we talk to each other. We have, we catch up. Hey, let's go have sushi. Okay, fine. We catch up. I'll probably call him after this just because I'm thinking about him right now. But it's not because I go, oh, I better do that, because if I don't, I'm not a really good friend. It makes me feel good whenever I talk to Ray or I talk to Joe or Jack or whoever, right? That's not it. It's just because we have a project we're working on. And as a result of us moving towards that, then we actually interrelate with one another. Great. It goes back. Now track with me here. It goes back to how we raise boys as if they are defective girls. So when we say, Johnny, you don't have any real friends, and you better shape up, mister, because look at Sally over here. She's got dozens of real good friends, but you need to be a friend to have a friend, right? And how do I do that, Teach? Well, you go and you talk about your feelings and you prioritize emotion and you make a you make a point to go to Starbucks and catch up and ask about the kids and the pets and the friends and Bible study and everything else. That's how you have friends, Johnny. Well, Johnny keeps hearing that same meme and that same narrative over and over and over and over again. And Johnny gets to be 50 years old and now it's not working for him. And he doesn't understand why he can't relate with other guys, why he feels bullied when some guy is just ribbing him and giving him, like fucking with him. Right. As the minute I met John from Modern Life Dating, the minute I met Sterling, the minute I met Fresh for sure, all these guys who I don't see on a daily basis. I might see that, well, Fresh and Myron I might see like 3 times a year, but like first time I ever met Sterling in my life, I'm already fishing with the guy and we're fucking around with each other. Like, yeah, fuck you. Yeah, fuck you. It's like that insult kind of thing where like women will like have fake compliments for each other and men have fake insults for each other because that's how men interact. I know how to do that because I'm from a generation where I learned I have social intelligence. I know how to relate with other guys. I go and I screw around with Steve and CJ from my band, the 2 guys that are in my band. I have a girl and there's the singer, and I mess around. I rib her too, right? And maybe she gets it, maybe she doesn't, but I know how to interrelate with guys. There are so many dudes right now who hit me up for counseling and say, I don't have any male friends. I don't have any friends, period. Do you have a tribe? No. How do I do that? Tell me. Well, give me the 12 rules for male friendship. Jordan Peterson had something about it, I'm sure. No, you need to learn social intelligence that you have been stunted by. That's why I say retarded in the clinical sense. Your maturation and your understanding about how to interrelate with other guys is retarded. It's been held back. It's stunted. And you need to find ways to develop that. You need to like understand and stop taking everything so freaking literally. I'm going to say something here that's going to be like probably very unpopular. But I think that one of the reasons why we have seen such a rise in things like Asperger's syndrome over the course, like since like 2004, 2005, up to where we are right now. Because if you look at the stat, I'll dig up the stats for that, like the increase, the rise in like autism. And I don't mean it, I mean like mild, like somewhere on the spectrum kind of autism and Asperger's syndrome. I think one of the reasons why you're seeing that climb is because the process by which guys learn social intelligence is out the window. It's all right here. It's all right there. And so when you don't hear vocal intonations, when you can't rib someone, when you don't have a brother, when you're raised by a single mom, right? Your dad's not there. And maybe your dad's blue pill to begin with. Like he's not going to do the same. He's not going to give you shit. He's going to smack you upside the head. Say, hey, get up. Come on, let's go. Dust yourself off. Who cares if you scabbed your knee or whatever? Get back on the skateboard, get back on the bike, learn how to fly, learn how to jump, learn how to do these things. Mostly because those fathers and those male influencers, they can't do those things for fear of seeming like toxically masculine, right? Now you have 2 generations, and I would argue maybe even 3 of guys who don't know how to interact with other guys simply because they've never had the occasion to learn, because it's social learning. You have to be right there in the moment doing it. You can't learn social intelligence from a book. You can't learn social intelligence with your digital consciousness. You have to be there right in the moment. Remember what I said about consciousnesses. The consciousnesses. There's the internal one, and then there's the back and forth one between you and someone else. And then there's the digital consciousness. The one that's between the 2 of you, that's where you learn social intelligence, when you're learning from that other person. When that person, like you piss somebody off, you go, I guess I pissed him off. Okay, I guess I shouldn't do that. Or that made him laugh. Now I can be a comedian. Oh, that made him cry. Now that made him do this. That made him that. That you can look at the responses of that's how we learn. We're social animals. We learn by doing. We don't do anymore. So yeah, of course you're going to have fewer friends. Of course you're not going to know what to do. And then on top of that, you get all bent out of shape because somebody you think you're being bullied when the guy is just like ribbing you or just giving you some good, like tough love, right? Or it's guys just giving other guys. The best way I can say it is some guy giving you shit and you give shit back. That's what you do as a guy. You fuck around, you have fun and you laugh at it and you go have a beer. When guys fight out here. Guys fight physically. Fuck you, girl. And you beat the hell out of each other and then you go, all right, you good? Yeah, you good? All right, let's go get a beer. That's men's fight. You know where women fight? Women fight back here. Oh, yeah. Women will hold a grudge way longer. Or female mentalities, guys with female mentalities and women will hold a grudge way longer than any guy will. You know, from it, even if a guy really fucks you over, and Lord knows I have been, usually guys are like, whatever, doesn't bother me. I'm going to go this way and do my own thing and build something over here. That's what a mature, healthy guy does. He doesn't obsess over something. He isn't pathological over something. He doesn't have obsessive compulsive disorder. That's what women do, because women fight back here. Men fight out here. Women fight back here. Women fight in the psychological. Men fight in the physical. And that psychological combat that women use is almost more damaging than the physical. I mean, yeah, you can get your jaw busted, sure, but that's going to heal.